Morning, everybody. I must begin with an apology because I had really planned to come, but there was something personal that happened and I just couldn't make it. I was looking forward to addressing teachers of civics. I've always dealt with teachers of English language, and this was a wonderful opportunity for me to talk to civics teachers. I've been interacting with Vinita and I've heard about the projects that they've been doing and the work that they've been doing. And I think civics people are the right people to catch because so much is happening around us. And it's people like you, teachers like you, who are going to make all the difference to our children. The way they think, the way they interact, the way they react. And if you look at it, all of you must be very familiar with the 21st century skills, which talks of collaboration, cooperation, team spirit, critical thinking, and discussion and democracy and everything. And I think perhaps the civics teachers have the best opportunity to actually use the time very, very effectively. But it's very sad that sometimes social studies teachers and civics teachers, we tend to think that it's a lot of facts to be mugged up and that children should learn these facts and then reproduce these facts. And as a result, what happens is children start disliking such a wonderful subject like social studies, which has civics, history, and geography in it. I feel, I don't say all of you do that, but I would say that if all of us as civics teachers, I'm not a civics teacher, mind you, but I did have social studies as a teaching subject. And when I began my teaching career, which was many, many years ago in Calcutta, at Modern High School, Calcutta, a very well-known school, I never knew about critical thinking, I never knew about cooperative work, but I did everything. And what did I do? I would get children to look at books and make them look at the book, read the book, and then say what was not right in the book. Because I wanted children to feel that everything printed is not necessarily right. And it's a very small incident, but I thought I should tell you about it because as civics teachers, whatever you do, you need to get children to think all the time. And I think a thinking child, if we can cultivate a thinking child, I think we've achieved a lot. It doesn't matter if he doesn't know what is the capital of a place, or if he doesn't know who's the president of a place. It's more important that he's been thinking and thinking critically. And that's why I have such a strong belief in projects. I believe that projects, if well planned, I don't mean the sort of projects that you can just give them and then the children go to the market and get people to get your projects made for you. I think if a project is very well planned, keeping in mind the competencies that you wish to achieve, the skills that you wish to achieve, I think a great deal will be achieved. And I'd like to just share a little idea about what we did some time back. Vinita has also done a part of it, the Project Citizen projects, which is still on, but maybe not so much in the spirit as it was. In this case, children actually took up a problem. A project was really based on a problem. It could be anything. So under Project Citizen, children actually picked up problems. And then, it was very interesting because it's not just picking up a problem, but the students tried to find out what was the government policy relating to the problem. For instance, one group had taken up urinating in public. And then they found that the government had lots of policies, but then why was it not being implemented? So the students actually met government officials, asked them that why is it that you have such wonderful rules and regulations, but they're not being implemented? And can we suggest something? So it's not that the government would accept what they suggested, but the fact remains that they did study the policies, they did make suggestions, and they did make some change. I mean, this is just one instance that I'm giving you, but I'd like to tell you about a particular instance in Andhra Pradesh where the Navodaya schools had taken up this project of toilets for the villagers, and they found out that the government was sanctioning a certain amount so that every house would have a toilet. And what did the children do? They went to the collector, they got the money sanctioned, and they saw to it that every house in that village had a toilet. So that's a success story. Now, it's not important that every project they take has to have a success story. What is important is the processes that the children go through, the study of policies, looking at policies critically, meeting government officials, interviewing government officials, finding out about them. We had another project where there was a tomb, and they found that this tomb was not featuring in the archaeological survey. And the officials from the archaeological survey, they met the local MLA, and the local MLA said, "Oh, I don't have any money for the tomb." And you won't believe it. One of the children took out a newspaper cutting and she said, "Ma'am, you've been sanctioned this much money. Can't you spend some money on the tomb?" So the lady was quite ruffled, and she said, no, let me have a look at that newspaper cutting. And then she said, yes, but we've got other obligations. And today that particular monument it's been fenced. There's a guard there. There are no people wandering. There are no drug abusers there. And it's all because of the children. Children are, I don't know, I believe in children so much. I believe that what they can achieve, nobody can achieve. In fact, today's newspaper had this beautiful little article about how this girl wrote to the Prime Minister that her village was named as Ganda village. And she said when anybody asked them, "Where are you from?" they had to say that we are from Ganda village. And she wrote to the her parents were very unhappy that she wrote to the Prime Minister. She wrote to the Prime Minister and said, "Change the name of my village." And the name was changed. In fact, I could give you hundreds of examples, but then let's go back to our curriculum and what worries all of you. And I think, if you really take up some of these projects and projects related to your curriculum, you would be really addressing so many issues, not just social studies. There would be language issues on speaking skills, on writing skills. Children would have to write a report. Children would have to interview people. Children would have to talk about it. Children would have to present their projects. So I am one person who really advocates project-based instruction in schools. And I think I'll end off with this because it's been quite long. But I really, once again, wish I was there. And I hope when I meet you next, you're really going to come up and say that, "Ma'am, we have taken up so many projects and we are doing so."